Architectural Builder Supply is pleased to present you with this recording of the technical question that is listed in the title of this video.
This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance.
Interlocking threshold, and you want help assisting in determining the correct one. That's super easy.
Yeah.
So an interlocking threshold, first of all, is a threshold that will mechanically engage, generally underneath the door, but sometimes biased towards the pull side of the door, but generally it's underneath the door. And they're advantageous from the perspective that they mechanically engage such that wind, weather, it can't really, permeate through that engagement between the lip of the threshold and the hook strip that's nailed to the bottom of the door. So they're really effective in that regard. They're effective at keeping critters out as well. In Chicago, you might want to keep the rain out. Well, in New Mexico, you're going to want to keep the scorpions out, or in Florida, the little lizards. So with all thresholds, you need to just think about, well, how wide of a threshold do I want? 4 inch, 4.5 inch, 5 inch, and then at least as importantly, the height that you're working with. So in a new installation, you can kind of define all of that because you have the ability to tailor how much you undercut the door. But in an existing application or a retrofit, the first question I would say is, well, what's the distance from the bottom of the door to where you're going to place the threshold, and then fit a threshold into that space if you can.
Okay. It was like an inch and a quarter to an inch and a half. It tapered a little bit, and the door has a little bit of rot in it. This is not something I do a lot. I'm a carpenter by trade, but I've never ran across one of these. So the door has a little bit of rot to it. So I'm not sure that hook strip will attach too well underneath.
Yeah, that's a problem. Now what you could do is you could install a threshold. There's another hook strip that I had kind of alluded to earlier, where it nails to the face of the door on the pull side, and it hangs down, allowing that little lip feature of the threshold itself to to engage that hook strip. But if you've got a door that's already coming apart, it's not wise to put a Band-Aid on an infection. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a custom door in a I think it was a really expensive door. So by the time I got there, it gets a lot of weather, and so that's why.
Yeah. Yeah. So and obviously it wasn't clearly it wasn't weather sealed initially correctly, which is why you probably have the problem. So what obviously you need to mitigate that moving forward, but I would probably first try to see if anything can be done to help the door. If it's not too extensive, you might be able to sand it or route out the bottom of the door and insert a new piece of wood and glue that together, cutting out the rotted portion. But now you had mentioned inch and a quarter, inch and a half. In my opinion, you get that tall, and they do make them. I have interlock thresholds that are, 1 inch, inch and a quarter, inch and a half, 7/8. It becomes noticeable that you've got a threshold there. That's awfully tall for a threshold.
Yeah, there's a big slab of oak there right now. That's kind of it's already kind of ugly.
Oh, okay. So good. So that ugliness works in your favor. So what I might consider is that you would make the bottom of the door parallel to the sill, with a circular saw, so that you can install something that, because the interlock threshold will not tolerate, it being out any dimension from the lock side over towards the hinge edge of the door. So you'd have to get that straight across, or parallel anyway. And then at that point, it's just you've given us a height range, and now all we do is select or tell you the widths that are available in those heights, and in an inch and a quarter or inch and a half, it's only 4 inch wide.
Okay. So you can get an inch and a half, and then I think it's 36. I'm going to go back there to the person's house today or tomorrow, and just measure it. But You do have an 1.5-inch high one.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And then what would I need? I need the strip for underneath, and then you can also sell the drip cap for out front. That doesn't come with it, right?
Yes to the former and no to the latter. Yeah, you would. So speaking about how to prevent it moving forward, you'd certainly want to add a drip cap to the outside. So you'll just get the length and the finish that you want, and then that's added. It's about a 9/16 projection and very effective at driving water away. And
okay.
I would definitely install that. Is
okay.
what I'm driving at.
Okay. So I'm going to go back there, and then so on Monday I could call with the different finishes that they would want. If they wanted something, they have like copper trim on their house. I mean,
yeah,
what are the finishes that would be available in the 1.5-inch?
Yeah, so there's mill aluminum finish, just a silvery aluminum. There's bright gold. There's a matte gold. There's satin nickel, and then the finish I think would be the least worst of all. The one that would be best, kinda, would be the dark bronze.
Okay.
The golds are going to clash. Satin nickel is way off. Mill aluminum is way off. So that dark bronze may not be awful. What's the color of the hardware?
You know what? It is dark bronze. Now that you say that, it is dark bronze.
Yeah, killer. So you're home.
Okay. All right, great. And how soon could you, if I were to order it Monday, how soon would that arrive to like Pennsylvania-ish?
It'd for sure be a 2-week situation.
Okay. All right. And I'm gonna go out there, and I'll call you back and I'll order. I didn't really understand the website too well. I'm not real tech savvy, so I maybe what I could do is just call you back and tell you what I have, and then just order it.
Absolutely. Yeah, no doubt. My name is Richard. I'll be back. I'll be at work on Monday.
And the cost approximately for their situation, a 36-inch wide threshold plus the drip cap plus the hook, like in bronze.
Sure. Yeah. So the threshold with the hook strip figures $60 in dark bronze for a 3-foot.
Okay.
And then that would come with the water pan underneath, which is just a piece of sheet metal that it's about $3 of that 60, so you can I suppose elect not to use it. But all it is a simple sheet metal barrier that the threshold would sit on, because the principle of an interlocking threshold is that most of them is that if any water got on the inside, there's a trough system that would run that water back out, and that water pan is part of it. So use it or don't. That's the bottom line. The drip cap is about $13 for a 3-foot length in dark bronze.
Okay. All right. And so I would just if let's say I got the bronze, the screws it's a concrete sill there, so I can just put anchors in with whatever screws you send, right?
Yeah, you can. I mean, it's going to include flathead screws only, like a wood screw. You're going to need to come up with anchors into the concrete. If it was me, I would. If it was me, I would not use plastic anchors at all. If it was me, I would. I don't think Pemco has what I would use, which would be machine screws and lead expansion anchors. Is what I would personally use. So I don't think they're going to have machine screws long enough, because you're going to need like at least 2 1/4 length machine screws. So you might need to, if you were to go that route, we can get you set up with the lead anchors. But if you were to use machine screws, you might need to come up with longer. I think they're 1032. Machine screws. Now, not that plastic anchors would be the end of the world, but I wouldn't want it because I don't think that it's going to stay solidly fixed to the concrete long term. You could also use a concrete screw, but everything I've talked about is in the wrong finish. Okay, so if you use the Tapcon, which I don't, which those either work perfectly or they fail epically. So you'll have to contend with the fact you might need to get some nail polish or something on the head of those screws to make it blend in.
Yeah, that's what I was. Okay, all right. So if I just got a machine screw, you could send the lead anchors. I mean, I can get them at a hardware store, but okay.
Industrial hardware store is going to have the right length machine screws, and I will. When we order the lead anchors, those are going to come with machine screws, and I'm going to put a note on the order, and I'll have to see what the ad is. So figure probably $10 ad for lead anchors. Yeah. I'll put a note there. Hey, be sure that you're sending the right length, and if you don't have the right length, that's okay. But send them if you got them. But
okay. Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate your help, Richard. I will call you back on Monday.
Great, sir. I'll talk to you. Have a good weekend.
Thank you. You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Architectural Builders Supply hopes you have enjoyed this program. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up. Please subscribe and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.